How you guys doing? Today I wanna talk about a book called Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. It's a pretty cool book. I was looking at I've been listening to some stuff about Buddhism, and I thought it was some kind of interesting stuff. So I went to look for a book, and I came across this book, which is Zen, which refers to Zen Buddhism, and how it relates to motorcycle maintenance. And obviously that caught my attention. So I was looking at it, and it's pretty interesting. It's by this guy. He rode a motorcycle like not across the entire country, but across a good section of it, and basically just talks about things. It's not really about motorcycle maintenance, but it's kind of in a way, because it relates about how when you do things, like when you take care of your bike, a lot of it matters how you feel when you do it. It's a reflection of you. Like, I've only read half of it so far, but you know, it's a 400-page book, so half of it has been 200 pages. And it tells you about things like that when you go through a manual for the repairs that you want to make, and not just on the bike, on any vehicle or piece of technology, the most important thing is to see what you're doing, to that as a good first step, which is missing from all the manuals on how to fix these things. It's missing the fact that first and foremost, you have to be at peace, and you have to like what you're doing. You have to enjoy it, and you have to emphasize putting quality into your work. And you know, it might sound kind of silly, you know, because obviously you wanna do it right. But he says that what a lot of people go wrong when fixing their things is that they just want to fix it, do what the manual says, be like, you know, turn yourself into a machine that basically brings the manual, that does what's specified on the manual. And he says that that's not really the way you should approach it. You have to add creativity to it, and that is how you do a good job. Because believe it or not, there's a lot of creativity involved. There's different ways to do each thing, and a lot of people are scared to diverge from what the instruction manual tells you. But this guy has some experience in the field, and he says the instruction manual really is just written by the one guy at the factory that has a lot of time in his hands, because he's not really very good. But he'll just basically, someone will just write down things he says. He doesn't, I mean, he uses his judgment, but it's not really, it doesn't, the process that some people think go into putting forth instructions or the recommendations is not really as strict as some people give it credit to be. And the thing is, this is not that strict. There's really other ways to go about it, you know, and you have to look at the form and the function of all the parts that you're working on, and try to envision how they work, and find a way to make them work better. You should be able to determine these things even without the manual. Like, you could use it as a reference, but the manual's not the start and the end. It's it's just a rough guide, basically. And you really can put some creativity into your work. So, like, the reason people are, you know, will pass off a job like to a mechanic, which, you know, mechanics often do bad jobs. I have never sent my bike to a mechanic because it's small and I can work with it. I don't need a lift or anything. I mean, I can't pick it up, but actually maybe I can, you know. So obviously I have basically all the tools I need, at least for the majority of things which need to get done on it. And so I often like when I fix it, like I just like I had an issue a year ago. It wouldn't turn on. I didn't know why, but I basically just went through the whole bike and piece by piece and saw each thing. And I think I did put a lot of that into it. Like I really cared about what I do because I really like my bike, and I want to take care of it. I want to make sure everything is working properly, everything is clean. And I don't know like what was wrong with it, but in the end I put it back together and it was working fine. I think in the end it was just the battery that was dead, because I just charged it for longer and then it did turn on. So I probably did the whole thing for nothing. But it wasn't bad. Like I felt like I learned. I got to know the bike. And whereas my car, when I take it to mechanics, I mean I spent thousands of dollars to get things fixed that just don't get fixed in the end, you know. And it's because some mechanics, they really don't care for their work. They you know, they're quick to like they say, oh, this thing is broken, we're just gonna replace it. Like a lot of times the things that get replaced, like if you got actually the first time I ever went to a mechanic, it was because my turn signal wasn't working on my car. And I remember I had gone to mechanics and they were like, oh, you gotta get a new turn signal. And it was like, it was very expensive for a turn signal. It was like a couple $100 or something. Like it was ridiculous, you know. And I was like, there's no way. I mean, this turn signal, it doesn't work right, which makes me gotta turn. But it's definitely not, you know, I don't think it needs to be replaced. And eventually I did find one mechanic, and basically all he did was he took it out, like the whole turn signal. He just cleaned it out and put it back in, and it worked. And actually I passed the car down to my mom and it still works. It, like the turn signal, it's like these things that people don't care about, and they'll, you know, something's not working, you'll just take it out and put a new piece in. Really is you could save a lot of money if you just enjoy what you do. Like if you think of it as work, a lot of times people would rather spend like $200 with a mechanic to do like the repair that needs to be done, and usually do a pretty shitty job of it, rather than just spend like a couple hours of their time taking the thing apart, like trying to figure out what could be the problem, really enjoying it, you know. Like, and that's the reason. If you enjoy it, then it's not work, you know. If you do it yourself, it's not like really labor, because your approach is what has to be the most important thing. You have to approach it with care. Approach it like, you know, like when you go to a movie, you don't think like, oh man, I gotta go to this movie, put in 2 hours here to go watch the movie. No, the movie it's interesting. You're gonna learn something. I mean, maybe not learn something, but you're gonna see some fun stuff, you know. And that's the same approach you have to have. But in order to have that approach, you have to be at peace. You have to think to yourself how, you know, like, this is what I want to do. I want to do high quality work here. I want to take care of my things, and, you know, have a sense of interest about what you'll find once you you know, dive into this work, this repair work that you're about to do. So that's pretty much it. I'm gonna read the other half of the book. I think the other half is mostly about Zen and other topics. I guess if you guys like this video, I'll make a review on the other half. Maybe I'll review just the because it's, you know, it's a really big book. It's a lot of theories into it, but that's one part of it. Alright, so see you.